Hello, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to mount a non-DVX Sentry Mark II onto a DVX. And this could be a DVX 100, 100A, or 100B, doesn't matter. And this is for Sentry Mark IIs that have a Bayo mount designed for another camera, such as this one, which is designed for the Canon GL1 and GL2 cameras, as you can see right there. And there's two methods of doing this. One requires adapter rings, another requires slight modification to your DVX. And I'm going to demonstrate the slight modification method because I do not have the adapter rings, but I'll explain the adapter rings and it's really simple. So no matter what method you want to choose, first you're going to have to remove the Bayo mount no matter what. And to do this, you just remove that little screw right there. Mine's stripped, so I can just kind of pull it out. But you'll have to unscrew yours if it's not stripped. And then you just unscrew the Bayo mount, just like an adapter ring. When it's removed, you'll see that you have threads, and on the GL1, GL2 mount, Sentry Mark II, these threads are 72 millimeters in diameter, and I'm pretty sure that's the case with most, if not all, Mark IIs, but don't quote me on that. And then you might think, oh great, 72 millimeters, I can just throw that on my DVX, can't I? No. If you go ahead and try that, you'll see that it will not reach your threads on your DVX because there's a protrusion on the lens that sticks out that doesn't have threads, and I guess you'd call it the barrel of the lens. But the two methods of attaching this both involve getting around that protrusion. The first one is the adapter rings, like I mentioned earlier, and you might think, oh, I can just get some 72 millimeter spacers, space it out. No, you cannot. I've tried this, and so many other people have and complained about it online. What you need to do is you need to get a 82 to 72 millimeter step down ring, because the larger 82 millimeter side will get around the protrusion, and so and then you'll follow that with a 72 to 82 millimeter step down ring. So you'll end up with a 72 millimeter end, but it'll get around the protrusion. That's what the 82 millimeters is for. And then this, you can just screw it onto your DVX as usual. Now, this may, depending on who you are, this may give you too much vignetting. I personally think it's fine, especially since, depending on the DVX I'm using, I'm actually using two right now. I'm using one to record this, and this is my junk one. Depending on the DVX and its off-centered vig, it's sometimes nice to crop that vig to make it straight, and then you can still have your desirable amount of vig. But I know a lot of people, they're very stingy about the amount of vig they have, and they'll say, oh, that's gross, that's too much. So another method, which gives you a noticeably less amount of vig, requires a slight modification to your DVX. Now, you may have already noticed, if you have a DVX or if you're familiar with them, that mine looks kind of funny. And that is because this slight modification just involves removing this on the lens. This thing is usually right here. It's just like it's a slim piece of metal, just screwed on, displaying the lens information, the Leica logo, and besides possibly cutting out some light, really doesn't serve much of a purpose. Oh, and protecting your lens too, but still. And removing this is as simple as unscrewing the two screws that go into each of those holes, and then it just pops off. It might look like it took more on my camera and as if there was glue, but that glue is from when I installed this back on after this camera ran into a handrail. As you can see, the focus ring doesn't even turn. So this is my junk capture cam DVX now. But anyways, when you remove this, after you remove this, your lens will have clearance to allow this protrusion to go in, because when you were trying to put this on without the adapter rings and without removing this, the protrusion was hitting this. So once you remove that, you'll be able to just directly attach the Mark II, and the threads should reach. You might have to play around with it just a little bit. Sometimes I can't always get it first try. And it won't screw on extremely tightly, because it kind of just barely reaches, but it's enough to be secure. As you can see, it's not coming off. And no matter what method you choose, this combination will be wide enough to where the sunshade will come into frame So you must remove the sunshade. This one's easy enough because all the screws are out in the first place. But there you go. As you can see, it's mounted on there. And I will follow this clip with a clip of what this looks like in the VIG netting you'll get on it. This is the other DVX with the GL2 Mk2 on. This is what it looks like. VIG looks pretty sharp and not, Optica blue, and it's pretty wide. And just for reference, the other DVX had a DVX Mark II on it. So hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Leave questions in the comments and have a good day.